I have not made a Holy Relic tier list in forever. So people have been asking, and here it is. Obviously, these tier lists act as recommendations, but keep in mind, just because a relic is very low on the tier list doesn't mean you shouldn't make it. For example, Margaret's relic sucks. It's horrible. Legitimately terrible. But if you use Margaret, of course you're gonna make it. You know? Even though the relic, like for example, pick a different character. Summer Merlin. Summer Merlin's relic is very low on my tier list, as you can see, 3rd tier. But she is a top tier character. The relic sucks though. Not much else to say about it. The relic kind of sucks. It doesn't suck enough that I'm like, oh, it's complete garbage. But it's not really all that good, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, having her relic isn't gonna make or break the unit. But having it is kind of nice. That's the I tier for the most part. But also, you gotta keep in mind, the relic could be amazing, right? But if the character sucks, I can't rank it very highly. And I just realized the ReZero characters are not here. I forgot to include the collab characters because when I was putting the list together, I was just looking at Demonic Beast and picking who was here. All good. They've been added. You'll be surprised. Like, even though, you know, some people are like, oh, you know, what's even the point? These characters can even have their relics made right now. When collabs come back, a lot of people ask me, oh, should I not make X character relic and instead make for an older character that I missed the relic for? And, you know, this might be better. Like, for example here, right? So, I just added some more. Naofumi has a pretty good holy relic, but he's not very relevant right now in the meta, so I can't argue for him to be in the amazing tier. Same goes for Kizuna's relic as well, all in all. But let's continue with the newer characters that we just got relics more recently, because I wanted to talk about them for the most part. Because a lot of these characters have more hype around their relics, especially because they're all relics from the new Demonic Beast, which is way harder to make than otherwise. I think Assault Melee goes first because he was the first one of these to get a relic. Oh, actually it was Freya, never mind. Doesn't matter. Assault Melee, his relic is actually insane. Like, comparatively to how he is with and without the relic, I'll bring up him as well. It is an insane relic. So in that regard, I would rank it pretty highly. The problem is, Assault Melee has to compete with LR Lost Vein and Purgatory Meliodas as a same name character. And even eliminating that, the meta has shifted towards now tier and Sin teams. So even though the relic is very good, his PvP relevance isn't all there, but I will still put it here because the relic itself is very powerful. As you can see, the good tier is pretty full. A lot of relics are good. And they should be. The fact that there are so many relics in trash and meh is really concerning. But also, like, a lot of the relics in meh are not because the relic itself is bad, but because it doesn't... Oh, shouldn't actually be here. Because the character itself isn't good enough that the relic actually made a difference that much. Like, for example, Benimaru. Like, Benimaru's relic is actually pretty good, but he's such a shit character. It is what it is, you know? Okay. I think the next relic after that... The one that actually came first was Freya. Freya is an easy, amazing tier, just because she carries, like, with her relic, carries on the hardest demonic beast in the game. Same argument I would make for Tonar, right? Tonar's relic carries you in dogs, so it is the exact same argument. Unfortunately, I hate this relic so much, because Freya is like a character that is divided between, oh, I'm a PvP character. Oh, actually, I am a demonic beast character. I am like half and half, and my passive doesn't work in the demonic beast that well because the team I want to use is goddesses and so on and so forth. So I hate the relic, but it's good. Zeldris, it's easy. I mean, Zeldris. There was a time where the most used demon team was Chandler, which still has a crazy relic. Purgatory, Melee, Zeldris in the back, and Estarossa in the front, right? Don't know why I say it like that, but still. As soon as Zeldris got the relic, boom, it was over for Chandler. Poor guy. The most used team became easily Purgatory, Melee, Zeldris in the front with the relic, because the basic stat increase is so crazy. Estarossa and Kusaki in the back. Easy switch. And ever since, it has been the most consistent team. Although you still see a lot of Chandlers, because either people that don't have Zeldris relic or just prefer Chandler in general because it's also very, very good. But that's Demon Team. Demon Teams have been not as popular right now because of the new stuff that has come out, but still pretty popular nonetheless. Diane. Let's go Diane. Diane's relic is interesting because honestly it doesn't look that good on paper knowing what damage increase really is. So upon using the stance, she gives everyone 40% damage increase. Oh, sorry, 30. And damage increase, if you've been playing the game, is very hit or miss. Because she doesn't increase stats, and she doesn't increase what was her biggest issue, which was her tankiness. She can't tank that well because her taunt only increases HP related stats, not defense related stats. So she gets shredded by so many characters. But what ends up happening is this damage increases for real. Like you can feel it. And when you can feel it, that's when it matters. Alright? And it kind of brought her back to meta. So the relic is really, really good. It has been, since this week's patch, not a good time for DN because the new Ragnarok team is incredibly powerful. Reason being that DN is actually here at the top. DN's relic is unbelievably good. It's so stupid. DN giving essentially Merlin passive to the whole team is so dumb. So dumb. Unbelievably dumb. Don't have any more comment on that. It's just dumb. This relic is dumb. Shouldn't be a thing. After playing the DN with Tarmiel Link and full recovery gear on the hero stage, or hero arena game mode, I don't ever want to see this character again, but she's making a resurgence because the Ragnarok team is really good right now. I actually was going to put Brynhilde at the top because there is a really good team right now with Tyr, DN, and Brynhilde with Zeldris in the back. Or you can use Anashi, but Green Zeldris in the back because Green Zeldris gives basic stats. And also, if the enemy's debuffed, they get their attack with stats lowered, right? And it works super good if you go second with Dodge Food because you have Taunt, you have Damage Cap, Tarmiel Link, and your characters hit super hard. Regardless. Super good. Lost Vein was the following one. And Lost Vein's relic honestly isn't that crazy. I need to really test him without the relic, honestly. LR. I'm not talking about base Lost Vein. Base Lost Vein is not a unit anymore, okay? He's not a unit anymore. I'm talking about LR Lost Vein, right? For every ultimate gauge, increase damage dealt by 10%. And at max ultimate gauge, pretty crazy, 50%, right? We just talked about the end's 30, feeling like pretty good. 50, even better. A lot of the times with Lost Vein, the first move you actually use is the AoE, which doesn't increase your ultimate gauge like the single target does. But a lot of the times you actually do it open up with the single target for the exact reason of getting the ultimate gauge for his relic. I kind of want to test him more without the relic, but because Lost Vein is a pretty crazy unit, I am inclined to put it here. I will test it further without the relic because the problem with this relic is that it came out at the same time as LR Lost Vein came out. So do I equate the reason to why LR Lost Vein being so good to his LR form or to the LR form plus the relic? The relic definitely has something to do with it as well, especially considering right now with the tanky teams we have, LR Lost Vein almost can one phase a whole team, right? But he doesn't quite do it. Maybe without the relic would be even worse. So I think the relic is very good. But you also got to keep in mind, on his LR form, and not in his base form. That's why specifically I put the LR here. I'm not going to rank the base form 1 because he's not Yuna anymore. Right? He's not Yuna anymore. And if you want me to rank his base form because of the Ragnarok Lost Vein, let me know. But I don't know. Maybe Ragnarok Lost Vein has an argument, to be fair. Like Liz. So, being real honest, I only used this relic for like 30 minutes. I recorded the video, played a little bit more, and the relic is pretty good. Problem is, Liz isn't good. So the relic is actually pretty good. Giving her an extra damage increase and damage reduction is actually quite nice. And although I do think a little stingy on that heal thing, like removes Infact, could have removed every debuff, honestly. You know, it's better than not removing anything. It still doesn't fix the unit. Like, it's still not going to make me run her. And when I'm like, okay, Goddess Liz is probably still better, it's been a debate while using her. Do I actually think she's better than Goddess Liz? She might actually be better than Goddess Liz now because she actually hits for an amount that's arguable to be like, okay, she's worth using. But biggest issue is Goddesses aren't very good right now. So, and she doesn't really help Goddesses' case. Maybe if Goddesses makes a resurgence, we can reevaluate, but it's good. It just doesn't fix the unit. The unit had a major flaw. It still has it. The unit has a major flaw that it takes 6 cards for her to start working. It takes 6 cards from your team for her to actually get going, right? And before that, she ain't doing much. After that, she's pretty good. But that time that takes is enough for your team to be wiped. Your team needs to be so tanky for you to last 6 turns and have it even be worth it. Like, for example, last 6 cards, right? So 2 turns, like, thinking that you're not going to combine any cards, which is unreasonable. Like, combining cards is a big-time mechanic in the game for ult gauge, right? Regardless. 2 to 3 turns. And your enemies aren't dead, right? So, like, let's eliminate the fact that Mael hits hard. So, you're not wiping the enemy with Mael. So, like, because if you're wiping the enemy with Mael, what's even the point of getting her passive? If the enemy already lost, there's no point to getting her passive. Like, I don't know. My issue with her still exists. The relic didn't fix it, but the relic itself is good. So there's that. We can end the video here. This is one of the best relics in the game. Freyr came out swinging. He was like a unit that were like, okay, he is a PvE unit, right? He's a PvE unit, and we're going to use him for all demonic beasts. He's really good. And then the relic came and said, no, he is good on everything. His relic works everywhere. His relic works in the back for no reason. His relic's so dumb. And now he is a meta character in PvP, and he is even better than he was for all the demonic beasts. He was already optimal for all demonic beasts. Like, people used him on the newest one, even though the optimal team was Goddess. People used him with Trader Malik because it was also a viable team. And now he is actually optimal. Like, he's the better one. He's better than Goddesses. So the relic is just unmatched. It is honestly like, let's say they give a free Holy Relic for doing the Demonic Beast when they release the next one, right? Or when they release the new game mode, maybe. I would be in contention to say, I would give it to Freyr over Freya. Depends on what characters you have, honestly, because especially if you pull tier, like, Freyr might actually be a more worthwhile investment for the beast itself than Freya, even though Freya's relic is made for the beast. It's just Freyr is that guy. He is that guy. So that's it. That's relics. Keep in mind again, if there's a character that you missed a relic for a farmable bird or deer or dog, just farm the relic and do it. It doesn't matter if they're low on the tier list. But if you're like, okay, I have the materials, should I really make DN's Holy Relic? If I don't want to farm. I just kind of want to, you know, hold on. Maybe a better one comes out. Fuck no, this relic sucks. It's not gonna add anything to your account but box CC. So that's about it.